All right, welcome back to my journey back to 1000. I didn't get through as many games as I was hoping to in the last video, so I have two left for right now. First one is against DJ Smithhurst. I was pretty convinced I was going to lose this one. If accuracy is any indication, I had an 83% and he had a 66.9%. So he opens with pawn to e4, and because I'm playing as black, I play the Caro Kann. And this is the perfect setup for the Caro Kann. Sometimes people move a knight. I think that was in the first game that I recorded. But in this instance, let's see what kind of Caro Kann we're doing. So this is the advanced Caro Kann. So next move, so is that. And the goal is for them to take, I move my knight here, and then we have this, what is it, C file, free of pawns. And that's just the normal Caro Kann look. So he does not do that. And that's fine. I bring out my bishop because the goal is to close off this diagonal. So I need to get that bishop out as soon as possible so that I can bolster up my my center strength. He does this, trying to scare my bishop away. I take his knight. He takes back. And this arrow makes a lot of sense. He has forever messed up his pawn structure, which, especially on the king side, is kind of an issue. That side will never be strong. So if he's going to, castle at this point, he's going to have to castle long, depending on, if that side still stays strong. Let's see what happens. I decided not to take, just leaving that threat there. It also just gives me time to build up my side. So he brings out his knight. But this, sorry, it's the morning. I feel a little coffee. This knight, I don't know why that's a bad move. I think just because moving it here keeps it out of danger. If I was gonna, push this forward, bring out my bishop, he can just push his pawn, something like that. I have no idea. I bring my knight out. It still just wants me to take. But what I'm seeing is if I take, his queen can still just come and get me. I don't, I'd rather build up the position, block this bishop from attacking my king, etc. I am doing a lot of pawn moves, which does not help all of my big pieces develop. So, could have done this more efficiently, probably. He brings out his pawn. That pawn, as I talked about before, is there to stop this move or this move when that is available. And the computer is saying to just take. Makes sense to me. So I take with my knight, hoping he'll just do something ridiculous. Maybe he just doesn't see that this pawn is protecting, and then I get a queen. That doesn't happen. And this move is fine. He's getting in there a little bit, attacking those squares. So I just bring my knight back. What I wanted to do was take that pawn. I accomplished my mission. There's no shame in just moving yourself back a little bit. So he's just pushing this pawn. So the general idea with moving this pawn forward is to give your rook some space. But if for some reason I let him keep pushing it, I either have to take it or take it if I don't develop my my knight, or I have to stop it. So let's see what happens. Oh, I just take that pawn, which in my mind I had some tunnel vision. Just really wanted to clear out the center. I didn't see that as such a bad move. It's saying I missed an opportunity to kick an enemy piece. Which, yeah, I mean, I could do this. Same idea as what they're doing. I just didn't want to do that. And he's attacking my knight. I just moved back. It's fine. I don't know that that move does anything. Other than, you know, making it possible to castle, which I think would be a pretty good thing for me. So I move my pawn forward to try and kick out the bishop. Yeah, it works. And I push my pawn forward now to kick out the knight. It's saying you move your queen here, you get development, and you get rid of the knight. I think I saw that move. I just didn't want to commit a big piece to it at that point. Oh, wait, no, hold on. I do this. And that's check as well. So I imagine he would have to move there. Or he could do something like this, and then I would get a free knight. There's no way that would happen. Let's look at how long it took me to make that move, though. 15:08 up to 15:09. So I took 9 seconds thinking through what I wanted to do. Take your time. There's better moves out there. Okay. I just throw this pawn forward, building up what I feel is a pretty good pawn structure. Meanwhile, those pieces are doing absolutely nothing. Oh, and this is a really interesting move because there's nothing he can do to get rid of it other than, well, I guess he can move that. But if he does that, then I can just take the pawn for free. That's a good idea. I like that. Again, that move doesn't make sense to me, other than it's just developing a piece. It's not attacking anything. So now I move my knight, finally. And moves like this are a little bit weird to see. Let me bring this back. So this looks ridiculous. And what you need to look at is how many pieces are attacking this pawn. I mean, this is a fork of those guys. There's no way for him to save all of them. And let's say he does, you know, I don't need to do arrows. I can just play it out. He does that. I do that. There's no way he wants to take with his queen. I'll just take it back. So I'm just up an entire piece at this point. So see where that's going. That makes sense. Okay, get back into it. So I move my knight. He moves his queen for whatever reason. Just think again, trying to get castled. Boop, boop. Is that what it is? No. One more. Boop. Boop. I don't know. The computer takes care of it for me. I don't think about it all the time. All right. I move my knight out. Moving my knight there means I'm attacking that bishop. But again, this is still a fork. And actually, this fork is more protected at this point. So let's see if younger Newman notices. Yeah, no, I completely blew off the fork. And I just went to take a bishop. Sorry, I was just looking at the game. Huh, it's fun. He moves his queen forward, taking my knight. I move my bishop because I am planning on castling. And then he just, maybe it was a mouse slip. I don't know. I have no idea. But I mean, that dude's mine. And if I was playing too quickly, I might have missed it. I've done that before. It feels terrible. I did that with a rook earlier in this series. There's no coming back from that. Not when I'm up this much and have this many pawns. Your bishop is completely countered by all of my pawns except that one. You're not getting in here. Sorry, fella. So, with that win, we move up to our next game. What is it? We're at 936. I can't tell if this number is at the end of this game or at the beginning of this game. So I'll make a note of that in the future. And this is the last game we're going to go over. Again, 72% accuracy for me. Pretty good. 67.4% for them. I have two great moves. Let's see if we can find them. So he is playing as white. I'm playing as black, which means Karo Khan. Not the perfect Karo Khan setup. I can see it happening. He's going to do this move. Oh no. My Karo Khan is completely thrown off. So what do I do now? Bring out a knight. The knight protects this pawn, but so does the queen, so that might have been a move that's not necessary. And it's the computer saying to just bolster the center, take control. The main thing you want is control of these two squares, like controlling the center. That's the good stuff. But I bring my knight out instead. This pawn structure is one of the more confusing ones that I've seen. I don't know what to even say about that move. He's moving his pawns too much. You got to develop some pieces, get some. I don't see a lot of other moves with his pawn structure. I think the problem with these guys, they completely cut off the knights from making logical moves. He can do this and this, but you get way more control when you get knights out there. So I take the center now. Sweet, best move for me. Now he moves that pawn forward. So he wasted time losing, what is that called? Losing tempo? I don't know. And yeah, moving the knight here. Good move. I bring my knight out. It's saying taking is best. I don't like it. He takes. Well, lucky me, I have a knight there. I take back. He brings out his bishop. Computer says this overlooks a better way to develop a piece. I don't know. Why is this better? I guess it has way more vision from there. He saw that there's a pin on my queen, and that's what he went for. Whatever. Let's kick that bishop out. He takes. What do? I take with the queen. I don't want to mess up my pawn structure. Brings his queen out. See, a move like this just gives me a target. I just don't. In general, you want to develop your other pieces first. Don't do this move. That's a terrible move. But like, I'm just drawing random arrows to show. Just get your pieces out and then mess with your queen. Your queen can still get out diagonally. So I push my pawn. Like I said, I've got a target now. This pawn is protected by the bishop. It's saying moving here is better. I don't see why. This move loses a piece. Oh, that pawn is free. Interesting. I didn't even see that. So he just pulls back. I push that pawn a little too late. Now that's just a mistake. He brings in for a little check. And this is one of my two great moves. It was the only good move, I guess. You don't want to move your king so that you can still castle. Block with the bishop, take with the knight. He brings out his knight. And again, the reason this is so bad, That's the vision that horsey has. Like, that's not helping. He's probably trying to reroute there. But man, that just doesn't do much. Whoop, I clicked twice. Oh no. Spoiler alert. I moved out my bishop for no reason other than that I just want to get my king castled. It's saying to take. I don't like that. We'll get to that in a minute though. Castle. And that is a complete blunder. This overlooks an opportunity to develop a piece. Okay. Wow. It's saying that he is minus 5.59, which those numbers, if you need a quick explanation, 1, like -1, or +1 means you're either down or up a pawn. So this means that black is down like 5.5 pawns, or like a knight and a bishop, basically two full pieces. So I take finally, and what I see is that's open, but that's not a huge, like, that's not a scary thing for me, because if he takes, I just take back with the queen. Okay. I'm reading the comments. This leads to losing material, and it looks like a fine move. But I take, and this makes my pawn structure a little bit strange. But I see that there's a free piece, and it attacks the queen. He takes a knight, I believe. Right now, he is -10. So I am somehow destroying him. I take with the bishop, and this bishop move also protects the queen from something random attacking it. This isn't super scary. I think I thought I start thinking a little bit more in this game. Let's see. So we're at 15 minutes and 20 seconds right now. I noticed that this pawn is probably what he's going after, so I just decide to move it. Now it's protected. This move gives a check. I don't know. I don't know that that's very helpful. Okay. So this is where I start panicking. I know I need to move my queen, so I'm like, there. Why not? He brings his rook in. And is this where I get a bit tunnel vision-y? Yeah, totally. I was like, oh, free pawn. Okay, let's do that. Let's not think about the consequences. Oh, yeah. Oops. And I think this is where there's a lot of queen dancing. It's going to be an experience. So it is saying this check is bad. Just bring the rook out. Get it on this open file. Cuts off king movement. It also says, hey, queen, come get me. But I could still take back. Okay. So he drops back his rook. I bring my queen to h2. And that is my second great move. The one good move. Why? I don't know. Again, I think part of it is that it just cuts off the king's movement. And I felt like we were probably going to get into a lot of repetition at a certain point. So this move attacks the rook. It attacks the pawn. This move is also protected. I don't know. It's saying this move for white is best because it attacks that unprotected pawn. And I don't have a nice... I mean, I could do this or this, which I think those were moves that I was contemplating. So let's see what happens. I decide, let's just check again. Moves his king. No castling opportunities for him. I bring out my rook to protect the pawn because I thought that was the most important thing I could do in that moment. And this is, you know, a choice. He takes, we trade. I was up material though, and you never want to trade, especially big pieces. You never want to trade when you're down material, unless you see like 5 moves in the future and you have a forced checkmate. So it's saying to bring his knight out over there. Oh, heavens. So my queen is protected. I can just bring it right in there. And I think at a certain point, I'm trying to finagle something. This move was something that I almost did. Thankfully, I didn't. I noticed that this pawn was protecting that square, but that knight is also attacking that square. You gotta have good board vision for like everything. So now let's just make another queen. Why not? Brings his knight out. That protects this square, because that rook now has vision. Boo. So again, the rook is protecting the queen. He has to move. Moves over there. I was hoping he would move here. But no, I wasn't. What am I doing? See, that's what's fun about this for me. Puberty, sorry. I get to relook at games and see why I did what I did. And sometimes it makes sense. Other times, no. And looking closer, I'm like, oh, I used to be pretty smart. So that move is absolute garbage because I'll just lose a queen. Don't listen to what I say. So at this point, I'm like, I can get his stuff. So I just promote, take his rook. And I'm in a pretty good position now. Minus 87.3? I don't, does that show up? Am I just saying, yeah, okay. Minus 87.3. And it just says, this is not the right idea. So I guess for him, he is thinking to attack that rook. Oh, wow. How long did that move take me? 30 seconds. Okay, me. Good job. Great. You just lost a rook. I'm so disgusted with myself. Oh, that makes sense too. So just blocking with the rook. But I think what I thought was, yeah, he would just do a move where he would, maybe something like this. If I stayed there, and I'd be in check. That doesn't, we're just going to repeat moves. So that move is another check. Block with my queen. That is not free. Could take with his knight. And now I just have to figure out how to move forward from here, and not get forked by the knight. And one easy way to do that is to make sure any pieces you don't want to get forked are on different colored squares. Just a fun fact for you. And these are the times in games where I don't know. Like I'm not good at end games with like a rook and pawns. I mean, this was good. Cutting off the king's movement on opposite colored squares. Oh, what are you doing now, me? Yeah, okay. I want to move my king, and I realized at this point, oh, I'm getting this knight close to being trapped. So now the only places the knight can go are those squares. I mean, there as well. There. So I just move in. And I think that might be the death knell for this dude. He can move there, there, and there. And I can just promote. He doesn't have a lot of movement for this knight. And he just resigns. So, at the end of all of that, I believe we made it to 936. It was a rough game. I didn't like looking back at that one. But that's what this is all about. Learning, growing, whatever. Thanks for watching. If you did. So far, I think there have been a total of 7 views on these videos, which for me, doesn't matter. It's honestly, it's just kind of fun to do this. If you have questions, again, drop them in the comments. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. But if you're watching this, you probably are subscribed already. So here we go. Peace.